Hi, I'm Greg from the Scary Spirits podcast, and today I'm going to show you how to make the Tall Blonde cocktail, which is the featured cocktail in today's episode of the Scary Spirits podcast. But please remember, I am not a bartender. I just play one on the internet. So, Tall Blonde cocktail. We're going to start with a half ounce of gin, and this is the first drink we've done that includes gin. And then we're going to add a half ounce of vodka in a cocktail shaker filled with ice. Then we're going to add 1 ounce of peach schnapps. And then a half ounce of peach liqueur. And then 3 ounces of orange juice. There's 1.5. And another 1.5 ounce. Orange juice. And then you shake well. And we're going to fill into a chilled cocktail glass. Yeah, it's pretty good. So that's how you make the Tall Blonde cocktail. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg,
Hi, I'm Karen.
and welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. The podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits. What could possibly go wrong, Karen?
What could possibly go wrong? We're about to find out.
I don't know. How are you, Karen?
I'm delightful. How are you, Greg?
Same, as usual. So I believe today's movie was your choice, was it? Was it not?
It was my choice.
And what did you choose?
Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
And why might have you have chosen that film? Any reason whatsoever?
Well, I chose it solely on the poster, purely on the artwork of the poster. I've seen the poster multiple times in multiple places, and I just thought, I've never seen that. I should see that.
So you bought into the marketing, did you?
They hook, line, and sinker.
What year is this from?
1958.
1958. Do you have a brief synopsis for those out there who may not have seen this wonderful film?
Or maybe dozed off in the middle.
Well, yeah, well, never mind. Yes.
Nancy Archer is a rich socialite who is unhappily married to husband Harry, who left her once but came back to her when he needed money. It hasn't stopped him from continuing his affair with Honey Parker, and Nancy knows it. After a confrontation at a local bar, Nancy takes off in her car and has an encounter with a large sphere in the road. There have been rumors of UFOs in the area, but no one will believe her. After a second encounter, Nancy grows to an amazing size, more than enough to get her revenge.
Well done, Karen. Do we have a cocktail for this movie?
We do. It's called the Tall Blonde.
Tall Blonde. What is in that cocktail and how might you make it?
You need gin, vodka, peach schnapps, orange juice, and peach liqueur. Do you want to let them gather the ingredients? Or do we tell them first?
Well, maybe we tell them how to make it first.
Okay. You're going to need a half an ounce of gin, a half an ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of peach schnapps, 3 ounces of orange juice, and half an ounce of peach liqueur. Put all the ingredients in the shaker with ice and shake well. And pour that into a chilled martini glass. Enjoy.
And now we should probably let them gather the ingredients and make their own version. Hold on. We're back.
Yes, we are.
I do enjoy this Tall Blonde.
You enjoy a tall blonde?
Yeah, it's delicious. And it's our first drink that features gin in its recipe.
True. It is tasty.
Don't use a lot of gin, typically. It was to the rear of my liquor selections in my bar. So
that's good. Sometimes,
but it's good. Yeah, it's okay.
Things need to come forward sometimes.
I'm not puking.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yet.
Well, it's only one, right?
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to get into the movie?
Let's dive right in.
Right here at the beginning, I have a note that I hate credits at the beginning of the movie again. It takes a while. Even in this movie, which isn't much to it, there's still a lot of credits that I have to read or not, but whatever.
You know, there's a button called fast forward. You don't want to miss a thing.
But for this, I want to take it all in.
Okay.
All right.
So you're starting off cranky, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much. So the movie opens and there's a news report on the TV. I guess it's a TV. I was a little confused at first, but it's a reporter and he's talking about a red fireball in the sky. It's traveling around the globe, like different places are seeing it at different times, correct?
Yes. And he's a bit snarky. You know, he comes across like
he's an asshole.
He's not a professional newscaster. He's putting his own opinion in here that he doesn't really believe this stuff.
Yes, he does. And yeah, he's kind of an asshole. Not really impartial newscaster, I would say.
No, he's being cheeky.
Yep. And then he gets out his globe and he's tracking the comet or whatever this big red sphere is around the globe. And then he determines that these strangers from space should be over our California desert in a matter of minutes, he says.
Snidely. You can tell he doesn't believe what he's reporting. Which is weird. Why would they be reporting it? But okay.
It's all about the ratings, Karen.
Even in 1958. There was probably one. Well, there's probably one news station.
So then we cut to a car driving through, I don't know, it appears to be desertous.
It's Route 66 in California.
Yeah, I did make a note. It was 66. So we see a car driving, and then there's the big ball, the big semi-transparent ball.
I think it's a big balloon.
Yes, that's what I thought it was. Semi-transparent balloon.
And you can see the wires holding it up.
I didn't notice the wires.
I did, but
it was semi-transparent. You could tell it was superimposed. But it lands in the middle of the road, and the woman's driving her. Do you know what kind of car it is, Karen?
No, I have car ? Greg, meaning you're going to tell me.
It is a 1958 Imperial Crown convertible.
Is that an expensive car in 1958?
Probably. If you wanted to buy one now, it'd be $27,000. It's not crazy expensive.
I'm just wondering because she has some money.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well,
so
this isn't the only car she owns. We find out later.
Yeah. We should maybe find one of those for $27,000 and cruise around.
If I get one for $27,000.
We'll slap the Scary Spirits podcast logo right on the side, and I'll sit in the back and wave in the parades.
But it only comes with an AM radio, I think.
It's okay. We can listen to our phones. I just want to sit in the back and wave while you drive me in the parade. Come on. Anyway, so she screeches to a halt and she's screaming.
Yeah, she's screaming the whole time.
Right.
She's like a scream queen, I would say.
Well, it's beeping. I mean, you know.
Yes, it is. It beeps. It does beep. So she skids around to avoid it. Then she stops right in front of it.
Does she get out of the car?
Not at this point.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
But we do see a giant hand.
Well, the car won't
she
start.
She does get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, her car stops. She's stalled. She tries to start it and will not start.
Yeah, and that's when
and she gets out of the car and a giant hand comes towards her.
You think it's paper mache?
No. Yeah,
plaster?
It's better than that. It's foam or something.
Okay.
So then we cut to a scene where who we learn is her husband is sitting in a booth at what looks like a dance club, which we later learn is Tony's, making out with another woman.
Kissy face.
Yeah. And later we learn she's a redhead. Can't really tell because it's black and white.
Yeah, I wrote blonde, but I heard later it was a redhead.
Too.
So
I have questions later, but we'll see. So we learned that he and the woman in the car separated at one point and agreed to go back to her, and because he couldn't get any money out of her, because community property only favors the woman and everything's tough for the man because men, they're just totally getting screwed all the time.
Yeah, those poor men. Yeah, they're talking and this is a typical thing for a man to say. So I didn't know if he was making it up. Well, no, when, like, oh, I can't just divorce her. She'll take all the money. But this sounds like it's her money to begin with. But
exactly.
But he can't leave because he won't get any money then. But the community property, I looked it up. California has had that since 1850, since it became a state. And all it says is a spouse owns half of the community property and half of the debt. So I don't know what he's talking about here. That's why I thought he was just kind of pulling her leg, that he couldn't leave because I thought he was lying.
I don't either. So this brings into question what I was thinking is like, why are you leaving your wife who apparently adores you, right?
And is smoking.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, I gotta say, yeah. Given the choice between her and the redhead, honey. Oh, yeah, I'm picking the wife personally.
I mean, she's a little crazy apparently, but it turns out it looks like she's only crazy because of him. She definitely adores him. You're right.
But she loves him, and she has $50 million in
1958.
I don't understand.
Is $466 million in today's money.
I don't understand the issue.
Suck it up, Harry. Suck it up. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I
mean,
agree. Totally.
Anyway, Blondie, which is actually Ginger,
Right. Honey.
says that he can't get anything unless the wife dies. She's a devious little
Yeah. Yeah. She keeps
Ginger.
bringing that shit up.
Yep.
And they develop a plan to make Nancy go nuts because she's already been in a sanatorium once, right?
Yeah, for what they said was for violent headaches. And so she drinks a lot to get rid of the headaches.
Well, if you got $50 million, do what you want. But Honey says if you make her go nuts, then you will have all that money and that will put you in the driver's seat. She says, you make a wild driver, Harry.
Yeah, with $50 million.
With $50 million. So this is the first movie we've done, 50s, 60s movie where they're talking millions. I mean, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, which is interesting. And I don't know if when you...
It always comes down to the money.
It always does. In a lot of these movies we do, and a lot of the movies we've done so far are very low budget, yet they choose to make these people exceedingly rich. So they've got to find big mansions and big jewelry. And it's just interesting to me that they're trying to portray Nancy as having $50 million and it's extremely low budget. So they've got to spend money on things to make cars and jewels and clothes to make her look
houses rich. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like, I guess that's the only reason a man will stay with you, though, is if you have a lot of money. It's part of the plot. I don't know.
So Nancy runs back to Tony's yelling for Harry. She yells for Harry a lot.
She does.
And the police, of course, are sitting right outside the bar and club.
But did you know she's running back, you're right, and yelling for Harry with a ginormous diamond bouncing around on her necklace.
Yes. And we learn later what it is, right?
Yes. It is a gorgeous piece of glass, but it's a very large diamond she's wearing. She is smoking. This woman...
Yeah, she is. She's smoking hot.
Is gorgeous. I mean, I love the clothes of this era, and she fills out that dress. Va va boom. It's not an understatement.
Yeah, like a well-fitted glove.
Wait, did he outpunt his coverage?
Yes, he did. But I like Harry. For some reason, I like him too, but I don't know why.
I don't want to know why.
I don't know. So, of course, the police are sitting outside. I'm not sure why they're sitting outside, if they're trying to catch drunk drivers, but probably not, I gathered, because they're pretty helpful to anyone that comes up to them. So she runs up to them and she tells them she's not drunk, and she tells them about the big ball that she'd seen that landed in front of her. And, of course, they think she's nuts, but they don't let on because she's got $50 million, right?
Right. They do try to calm her down. They tell her they're going to get her black coffee. And that's when she says everyone thinks she's drunk, but she's not.
But she has a history of that sort of thing. So
Right.
It's kind of haunting her at this point.
Yes. Almost like the boy that cried wolf. Like they just assume that she's drunk.
Sheriff's deputy comes in to Tony's and taps Harry on his shoulder and said, "Hey, your wife's here." And she's telling all kinds of these stories about a big ball. And
she's hysterical.
Yeah. And he pays the dude off, right? I can't tell what the dollar amount is of the bill he gives him.
Yeah, right? But he just flashes some cash and
gives him some cash and says,
Charlie is his name.
Yeah, Charlie. Tell him I took a cab home.
You couldn't find me and I took a cab home.
Yep.
And I wrote CAD, and you like this guy.
Harry?
Yeah, he's kissing this girl's neck and learns his wife is hysterical, calling for him. So he hands the dude money and says, "Say you couldn't find me." Which apparently this is the only building. There's a hotel and this bar in the town, and that's it. So I don't know why. He wouldn't be hard to find.
In Northern California. I've been places like that before. And then the sheriff, after hearing the story from Nancy, tells the deputy to get the riot gun and come out to the desert with him because there's a 30-foot giant out there.
Yeah, when Charlie comes out, he tells the sheriff that Mr. Archer took a cab home. So he earned his $20. He followed instructions well. Yeah, they keep calling this thing a satellite. They're going out to see a satellite and a 30-foot giant.
Which makes me wonder. So when did the term UFO become a term? And I
I don't
just read
know.
this the other day. But apparently in 1958, they called them satellites. It was coined in 1953. So
UFO?
yeah,
What was satellite? Did Russia beat us putting satellites up in there or something? Or
I don't think so. But there was the whole Sputnik thing. No, but I think satellite means anything from space, right?
that's how they're using it here, not the specific thing that we call a
it's weird
satellite.
that the term UFO and flying saucer especially had been in the vernacular since 1947.
Well, this isn't a saucer. This is a sphere.
I know, but I'm just saying the Air
Yeah,
Force started
it is
using
odd.
the term UFO in 1953, and the first phrase of flying saucer was in 1947. So it's strange that they use the word satellite throughout this film.
It's almost like it was copyrighted.
Maybe they're doing it not to like create hysteria or some shit. I don't know.
I think you're giving it too much credit, but
I'm just saying,
maybe whoever wrote it just didn't know the difference between the terms.
Could be.
I don't know.
So the sheriff and the deputy, they go out there, drive out into the desert. They find Mrs. Archer's car, Nancy's car, but the ball is not there. And this is where we learn she's apparently wealthy. Well, we kind of learned she's wealthy before, but now we get even more that she's wealthy because they make the comment about her paying most of the taxes in the town.
Yeah, he says, the sheriff says to the deputy, as long as she's paying most of the taxes around here, we play along.
Yep.
So they're placating her this whole time. They're treating her like a child. It was a little infuriating.
They're driving out there just to appease her.
Right.
They don't believe there's anything out there. They find her car, and then Mrs. Archer gets in it, and it starts right up, even though it wouldn't start earlier.
Well, yeah, this is where
Imperial Crown convertible.
Yes, this is where Nancy says it looked like they were reaching for her diamond, and the sheriff comments that she's wearing a large diamond, and it could have been drifters in the desert. And I said that the sheriff is very condescending to her and mansplaining things. What could have happened to her out there? But you're right. Then the car starts. And she leaves in a huff and almost runs him over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She almost runs over the sheriff. Yep. And then they say, poor mixed up Mrs. Archer.
Right.
So then she drives to her home, which is a very nice house on a hill. And the butler greets her at the door. She goes to pour herself a drink. And then we see Harry is in the room lying on the couch, hiding. Then they start arguing about Honey, the girl at Tony's.
The relationship between Mr. Archer and the butler is not a good one. They established that here. Harry's basically a dick to the butler. There's no love lost there between those two. But that's kind of important later in the story. They definitely don't get along. And then you're right. Then they argue about Honey.
I feel like you keep saying bad things about Harry.
Oh, do I?
But you are correct.
She says he's after her money.
Yes.
And she doesn't know why she took him back.
Yeah. She knows that Harry's only in it for the money. That's the only reason he agreed to come back.
Right.
And they start arguing about Honey at Tony's. But what, Karen?
He says,
No.
why did you take me back?
Well, yeah. Why would she?
But she admits she loves him.
She loves him.
She does. And she just wants him to show her that he cares. The bar for what she wants from him is so effing low. All she wants is for him to show that he cares for her.
Yep.
And he gets $500 million in today's money.
Yeah.
And
just being a kept man.
The dude can't do it.
I know.
I made another note when she came in the door that she is gorgeous.
She is. She's smoking.
She's a 36, 24, 36.
Yeah, she's much hotter than the Honey chick that he's got at Tony's.
Not to harp on it, people, but the way that she's presented, she is really quite the woman.
Yeah. I just said she was smoking. That should be enough.
But
she loves him.
And
Yeah.
you know what she does? Then, in typical fashion, maybe it's my fault, Harry. Maybe it's all me. I'm so sorry. That infuriates me. It's not her fault. It's his fault. But please proceed.
So she tells him about seeing the satellite. You can almost see the wheels spinning in Harry's head that, okay, this is my chance to make her go back to the sanitarium, right?
That's their plan.
So he plays the dutiful husband, just as they were talking about earlier, and he picks her up and carries her to bed. And then we see the butler. He's been watching the whole time, as they do, I guess. So he takes her up to bed, puts her in bed, takes off her shoes, and starts undressing her. Takes off her hose.
Stockings.
Yes, stockings, whatever you call them. I don't
They
know.
are stockings.
But it was hot. That's all I know.
She asks him why he isn't always this nice. All he's doing is helping her get into bed. Like I said, the bar is so low. She just
And
keeps
she seems a
saying,
bit tipsy after only having like 2 drinks.
yeah, she needs him. He is all she has. She loves the dude.
Yeah, he's a dumbass. And then he gives her a pill to help her sleep.
And I said, oh, she's going to sleep with her diamond on. But what does this hairy dude that you like so much do?
Harry takes off the diamond and puts it in the pocket of his shirt, breast pocket of his shirt.
And she asks him to stay. But what does this guy, Harry, that you like so much do?
He goes, no, you need your rest.
They're married. He should have stayed. He leaves immediately with the diamond. Her head has not hit the pillow, and he's out the door with the diamond.
Yes, he is. And we cut back to the dance hall, or Tony's bar and grill, I guess. And the deputy is dancing with the redheaded woman, Honey. So Harry goes in and says he's gone to the hotel looking for her, but she was not there.
Yeah, he's mad she isn't just sitting there waiting for him.
Harry doesn't like her being there all by herself.
Well, she's not by herself, is she?
No, he's a little jealous.
She says she's tired of waiting for him. And then he says, you won't have to wait long. She's seeing satellites and giants.
Yep, she's breaking up again,
Yeah.
he says. And then we learned that the diamond is the Star of India, apparently.
He says that Dr. Cushing will commit her right away if he because she told everyone in town that she saw this stuff. And then, to keep Honey in line, Harry pulls out the diamond, which is the Star of India. But I looked this up.
Did you already?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
The Star of India is not a diamond. It's
a sapphire.
Yeah, it's a 563.35 carat of almost flawless blue sapphire.
Which is
stars.
112.67 grams.
But obviously they stole the name. But the world's largest diamond is called the Golden Jubilee. And
I don't think they called it a diamond, did they?
Yeah, because, it's a diamond. That's what they called it.
They called it a diamond? Okay.
Yeah. It's clear.
Oh, the Star of India doesn't look anything like the thing that she was wearing around her neck.
No. So the world's largest diamond is the Golden Jubilee, but it's yellow. And it's 545.65 carats, and it's owned by the royal family of Thailand. It's worth 4 to 12 million. But
At all?
I know. The most famous diamond is the Cullinan diamond, and it's owned by Elizabeth II, part of the crown jewels, and it's in the Tower of London, and it's worth 400 million. So I think because
what's the Star of India worth?
I didn't see that. But he teases her with the diamond and tells her someday.
But it's not a diamond. Star of India is a sapphire.
Well, the actual Star of India is a sapphire, but in this movie, the Star of India is a diamond.
So what's it worth?
I don't know. You'll have to look it up.
Hold on.
What's it worth, Greg?
Well, apparently the owner, who remains anonymous, has valued the gem at over $300 million in today's money.
Okay. So that's not what she's wearing around her neck, but...
Well, they say it is, but it's not.
Whatever she's wearing around her neck, presumably as a diamond and a large one, is worth a hell of a lot of money.
What she's wearing around her neck is more teardrop shaped.
Yeah.
Right. The Star of India looks round.
And blue.
Yeah.
So
they decide to call the psychiatrist.
Dr. Cushing.
Yeah, Cushing, which I thought was an interesting name, but whatever.
And he diagnoses her with mental exhaustion.
Yeah. Doctor says she's not well. Doctor tells Harry that she needs to be with him and for him to be patient with her.
Yeah, they can't do much for her until she gets some rest. She's overworked her imagination. And she needs to be near Harry. And he has high hopes that she'll recover.
Yeah, God bless Harry.
I don't have high hopes if she's with Harry, but...
So then Nancy comes downstairs after the doctor leaves.
Great clothes, I wrote.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Amazing clothes. She's got about a 12-inch waist. I don't know.
Well, they all do. Oh, that's the style then, there, right?
They all do, but she really is
58,
cinched.
but she's very 60-ish. She's kind of ahead of the times, I feel like. But I don't know. So she comes downstairs. She confronts Harry about being out all night with that woman. Who we know
all the niceness is gone from last night.
And then she asked him what the psychiatrist said. And she thinks everyone thinks she's crazy. But apparently the butler is keeping an eye on Harry and everything else.
Jess hates Harry.
Yeah, he's kind of like her guardian angel. Well, we learn later he's known her since she was born. He's known her all her life. Because apparently she comes from old money.
And Jess is just basically tattling on Harry.
And then the news comes on. And it's the same snarky newsman.
Yeah, do you think that was real or she was imagining it?
No, I think it was real.
No, he was so sarcastic and unprofessional.
Oh, I think it was real. She hears about herself on the news. And he's not very nice to her, but
he says
she's rich. So, it's kind of like a tabloid newscast.
I guess. He says, was it pink with tusks? Implying, you see pink elephants when you're drunk. I mean, it was blatant.
Well, apparently she has a history of drinking.
But...
I mean, it's no different than any celebrity
But he
today.
says, this newscaster says she's feuding with handsome Harry and maybe found a new man. And then it says a man can ignore 1 million, but not 50 million.
Like I said, it's not much different than tabloid press of today.
I guess like TMZ today. Yeah. But this was back when there wasn't 1,000 news channels. There was 3 probably.
Yeah. But if you're rich,
I guess maybe it's like a local
and have a history of drunkenness, you're fair game.
I guess it must be a local, like where you'd watch Wayne's World.
Well, that was on public access, so I don't think it was quite that.
All right.
So she gets pissed off and throws a bottle at the TV, as I would, or Elvis would, for that matter.
You or Elvis.
Yes.
Same diff. You knew that was coming. I would too. Anyone would.
Oh, fuck yeah. So then she decides she's going to go out in the desert and look for that big ball and the giant. And she tells Harry, you're coming with me. This is where we see she kind of runs things when she's not nuts, I think. So,
I don't know. He's still.
Well, he goes.
Well, he's $50 million, but she's trying to run things, but he's still doing whatever he wants.
I kind of got the feeling that she kind of runs things no matter what.
But
like it's her house, it's her butler. She runs things. Even earlier when Harry tries to get the butler to leave, it takes a few times, but he only leaves when she says, you can go. Right?
Well, he's not his butler. He's her butler.
True. I'm just saying she runs things, which she should.
I don't know, but he's still doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, but she runs the household.
Okay.
He's only there because she allows it. Right? Right or wrong?
Well, I guess. But she loves him. She wants him there.
I know, right?
But
whatever. Hopefully she'll get over it. And she says that if they don't find anything, she should be committed because she's nuts. Harry's like, oh, all right, awesome. I'm in now.
Yeah, get the gun. We're going
Yeah,
hunting.
she tells the butler to get the gun because they're going hunting.
Yep.
And it's a butler's gun. So they drive around the desert all day and they don't see anything. And it keeps getting darker.
And she's obviously looking all around. It's not subtle.
There's a flash on the screen, which is very subtle as well, as you're watching the movie. And she says, there it was behind the hills. And then they turn around and drive towards it, but there's still nothing. And then as they're driving home, after Harry says, well, what do you want to do? I haven't seen anything. There's nothing out here.
She starts crying and apologizing. Sorry.
And as they're driving home, there's a flash across the screen again as we're watching. And then they see it. And she says, there it is. There it is. There it is. I'm not crazy, Harry. There it is. It's my impression of Nancy.
Yeah, she gets out of the car and runs up to it.
Yeah, she runs up towards it and like puts her hands against it just to be sure it's real, right?
Probably.
Just to be sure it's not a figment of her imagination. And as she does that, a giant comes out of the satellite. And then Harry tries to shoot it with the handgun.
The 30-foot bald man.
Semi-transparent bald man.
Yes.
And then Harry runs away and leaves Nancy there all by herself.
Just leaves her.
Just leaves her.
Peels out in the car. Doesn't look back.
Not Harry's finest moment.
Does Harry have a finest moment in this film?
I don't know. I like him for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
The more that we go, I'm like wondering, why do I like this guy? So Harry drives back to the house and starts packing a suitcase. And the butler tries to stop him and asks, what have you done with Nancy? And then they start fighting.
They do.
And it carries on for a little while. Down the stairs into the main living area. And I made a note that it's pretty good lighting as they're fighting on the stairs. I kind of like that scene.
Yeah. Harry knocks out Jess with a bottle.
Yeah. So eventually Harry hits Jess, the butler, over the head with a bottle. And as Harry runs out of the house, the butler comes to and dials the operator on his rotary phone.
Yes. He just has to dial 0.
Yeah, you don't have to dial 911. Just 0.
Say, operator, get me the police.
Yeah, just that simple. Those were the days, Karen.
I don't remember that. Do you remember that?
Rotary phones?
Yes, I remember rotary phones, but did you dial 0 for the operator?
Well, yeah, it said 0 operator on the dial.
I don't think I ever used it.
Well, I didn't either, but I know what it said.
Okay.
I know what 0 meant. It meant dial the operator.
Sorry.
Yes, I know. I am correct. Thank you. Do I get a point? Do I get a point for that?
No, I knew it was the operator. I just didn't know if that was something functional when we were younger.
All right. So then Harry goes to the hotel and gets Honey out of bed. Apparently she sleeps all day. I don't know. And tells her to pack because they're leaving right now.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on, but she has
no clue.
He's seen enough. He's willing to leave the 50 million because he saw the alien and the satellite.
So she gets dressed behind her little curtain or whatever it is. What's that called? Dressing screen?
Probably a dressing screen.
She gets dressed behind it, and all the while he's packing her suitcase and she's saying, hey, that's all the clothes I got.
He's being rough with the clothes. He's in a hurry. They need to go now.
Is he going to hurt the clothes, really?
Some delicates. You never know.
Whatever. So then they open the door to leave, and who was there in the doorway?
Hello, Charlie.
The deputy.
The deputy.
Along with the hotel manager or something.
Oh, the desk clerk. Yep. Yeah.
Charlie, the deputy, says the sheriff wants to see him, and
both of them. Yeah.
Harry tries to pay him off. He tries to hand him another bill.
Again, not his finest moment, but
Charlie refuses this time and tells Harry that sheriff wants to see him and the redhead in the office right now. Sorry. So they are in the sheriff's office, and they get a call from the operator. Is that who calls?
Yeah.
Saying that Nancy has been found.
But wait, at the sheriff's place, they're playing cards.
Right.
They're not treated like criminals or suspects or anything.
Well, they're waiting for the sheriff.
Yeah, they're playing cards. Gin, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes, and then they found Mrs. Archer.
She's been found at the house on top of the pool house. And then they say, well, how'd she get up there? maybe a helicopter. So then we cut back to the house. The doctor is there and he is already examining Nancy. They
Yeah,
tell Harry that it looks like she's been exposed to radiation. And then the sheriff starts questioning Harry. This is when everyone finds out about Harry. Not everyone knew about Harry until now.
What, that he left her in the desert?
No, that he's a womanizer. And
I think they knew. Well, maybe
no,
the
they
doctor
didn't.
didn't.
The doctor didn't.
The doctor says she needs rest, and then the
The
sheriff.
doctor's the
implores-
one that wanted
Right. You're
her to
right.
stay with him.
The sheriff mentions exposure, implies that she was wearing skimpy clothes when she was found.
True.
But yeah, I don't know what evidence of radiation, how you spot that, but it's not.
Well, they
it's
were
never
talking
good.
about the scratches on her neck. And later they mentioned how they have a blue-green tint around them
Right.
later.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
Well,
But
there you
that's-
go. What more do you want? It's radiation. Damn it.
Okay. Yeah, scratches on her neck, evidence of radiation. Never good. Never good.
Yeah. And then Harry lies and tell him he left the house alone, but the butler has a different story. It tells him that, they left together and
Yeah, just blabs.
he came back alone.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's-
mighty suspicious, right?
He says that Nancy will collaborate his story once she is revived.
Yeah. Harry says Jess is lying, and Honey's right there to back him up. Says they were together the whole time.
Yeah, Honey's a good woman too.
Yeah,
Always backs up her man.
for $50 million.
It doesn't matter, I'm sure. So on the way back to town, Honey, the redhead, convinces Harry to use the serum they were treating Nancy with to kill her.
Right, because when the sheriff's talking to Harry and Honey's wanders over to where Dr. Cushing tells the nurse to ready the injection and be careful, use only 0.75 cc's. Honey slyly notices that.
Yes, she does.
And then in case you missed it, they show her again eyeing the meds. In case you didn't get that
Yes, they do.
subtle thing. And sheriff tells them no one leaves town.
Yeah. But Honey goes back to town. Harry gets out of the car, goes back to the house, and he puts a bunch of the serum into an unsanitary needle. I made a note.
Well, one of the funny things is they're driving away together, and Honey, because she's such a sweetheart, says an overdose would be fatal. Tells Harry that. And Harry says, money brings out the best in you, doesn't it? And she says, have you got the nerve? And he says, read the morning
Read the
papers.
morning papers, yeah.
But the best part, not the best part, but an interesting part for us old folks is he gets out of the car and tells her, slide over and drive. Those cars had the single
Bench seat.
Yeah. There was no bucket. You didn't have to climb over anything. You just slid on over.
Right.
And he
But-
tells Honey to drive to town. He has things to do.
Right.
And that's when, yes, the unsanitary needle.
Unsanitary needle. It's just sitting in there on the table
Well, yeah.
like a big freaking needle like the dentist put in my mouth a few weeks ago, right? We talked about it earlier.
And I said, there's a lot of air in that syringe. I hope he's going to
Well,
squeeze
it's
some of that air out.
unsanitary and there's a lot of air.
Yeah.
So he goes upstairs to inject Nancy.
But that's where I noticed the lighting on the stairs. Did you not notice when he's crawling up the stairs? That was pretty cool.
I thought a lot of the interior lighting was very well done.
They show his shadow is cast on the wall and he's slowly moving up and you see the syringe. It's kind of, I don't know, kind of Hitchcocky a little bit, like showing what was happening. And
Had a little bit of suspense to it.
yeah.
So he walks up there and the lights are out. He opens the door to Nancy's room, walks in. He's creeping towards her with the syringe, right?
Yep.
And then we see the silhouette of the nurse in the background in the doorway. And then
Yeah,
she turns
she
on the
was-
light. She's there
nurse
for a
w-
little, she's there for a while before she turns on the light.
Yeah. The nurse was sleeping downstairs. He had to sneak past her.
Yep.
But apparently he woke her up because, yeah, she's creeping behind him.
The nurse turns on the light and we see a giant hand. And the nurse screams for the doctor.
The paper mache hand.
I don't think it's paper.
Well, you
mache.
know, it's her hand because I think it has, doesn't it have red fingernails or painted? You can't tell because it's
Can't
black and
tell.
white, but it's painted fingernails.
Yeah.
But apparently she's huge.
Yeah.
But she fits in the bedroom.
Well, she's curled up in a ball. I don't know. How I sleep.
You're not 50 feet.
Okay. So she calls for the doctor. The doctor comes up and says, "Oh my God, it's an astounding growth.
Yes, astounding growth.
Astounding growth." So then we cut to the next morning and we see a delivery man, the Acme delivery man. Right?
Yes.
The Acme, just like the Roadrunner gets all his shit from Acme. Apparently, so does Harry
Yeah, very reputable.
for the doctors.
I think it's the doctors that order
Yeah.
all this stuff.
So he arrives and he brings in chains and meat hooks and elephant syringes, boxes of them.
And 40 gallons of plasma.
And then we see the new doctor, who I recognize from someplace. Second
Oh, yeah?
doctor. Yeah.
Is he German? He's a German doctor.
He acts like it, but I don't know. But I recognize him from somewhere.
You say you're going to do a hold on? Because
Hold on. Okay, so he was in Gomer Pyle. He was in Mannix. He was in Hogan's Heroes. So I think I just recognize him as being a character actor. I probably recognize him from Gomer Pyle or Mannix or Hogan's Heroes, I would say. Where I recognize him, his name is Otto Waldis.
I didn't recognize him.
I didn't really like him, but I recognize him.
Well, he can't diagnose her,
No,
but they're going to operate.
yeah, the doctor says he's never seen anything like it. They talk about the blue-green color on the scratches on her neck. Like I said earlier, they believe it's some form of radiations, and they want to do surgery.
Well, he implies it's the pituitary gland, which is a gland at the base of your brain that's responsible for growth hormone.
I knew you would cover this, Dr.
So-
Karen.
If it can make too much growth hormone or it can make too little. You know, that's what he implies that they're going to operate. I don't know what they're going to do,
Yeah, I don't either.
but
But Harry goes back to the hotel.
Harry's listening to all this.
Yeah. And he meets up with Honey.
Oh, but wait, before you do that, did you notice that the doctor says that we'll have to have the husband's permission to operate?
Yes, they need his permission.
Now,
He
this
needs
is
to sign off on anything they do.
this is the dude that the sheriff pretty much suspects tried to kill her in the desert. And they're not only letting him in the house with her, but they need his permission.
Yes, they do. He is the man of the house.
This does not sit well with me. I have issues with this.
No, he's next of kin.
You wouldn't need permission from next of kin.
You wouldn't?
No.
What if she had some living will or something?
This is just how it was in 1958. You needed your husband's permission.
No, not your husband. You needed
No,
next of kin, your
No.
spouse's permission.
I doubt it. I bet a man didn't need his spouse's permission to have an operation in 1958. There's no way.
Maybe.
Nope.
I don't
No.
know. Karen, I wasn't there. I wasn't born yet. I don't know.
Well, me either.
Weren't you?
You're mean. You're in a nasty mood.
You are older than me.
Way older.
Way older. So 58. I don't know. Maybe not.
No, not even close.
So Harry goes back to the hotel to meet Honey.
She's listening to records.
Yeah. But she hasn't read anything in the paper. She's been reading the paper as well.
Yeah, she's dissing him that he
Yeah.
didn't off his wife.
Yeah.
And he explains to her in between the time that he left her and now his wife has grown 45 feet. 0.7 cc's of morphine ain't going to do it anymore. He needs the elephant syringe at this point. And then Honey says they both have the same disease, money and happy ways of spending it.
That's right. And then we cut back to the house, and the doctor is pulling up Mrs. Archer, Nancy,
with
huge
a block and tackle,
hand. Yeah, a
right?
chain. Yeah.
My dad would love that. He loves a good block and tackle. They're lifting her arm with it.
Yeah. And all the while, the sheriffs are investigating the pool area.
And what do they find?
A huge footprint,
Dun dun dun.
not just a Bigfoot
No,
footprint, like a fucking huge footprint.
It's not Bigfoot.
No. So the butler arrives and they show him the huge footprint. They ask him if he's seen anything like it before. And of course, he says no. And the sheriff sends the deputy back to the office to get the riot gun again, tear gas and grenades.
Yeah, they're well stocked for a small town. It's kind of funny. Charlie says, there's another one and another one
Yeah.
and another one.
Yeah. So the sheriff and the butler, Jess, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Start following the footprints.
In the station wagon.
Yeah. Well, he sends the deputy back. And as they're walking, the deputy almost runs them over.
Yeah, that was comedy
in the
relief,
police
I
car.
think.
Yeah.
To cut the tension because they just found the big feet.
And then Jess, the butler, says, well, Mrs. Archer has a station wagon. We could follow it in that. I don't know why a station wagon makes a difference, but she has one.
Yeah.
So the sheriff and the butler follow the footprints in the station wagon, and they get stuck. The butler pushes the station wagon out, but it's kind of a foreshadowing. It keeps getting stuck, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then they see
they're off-roading in a station wagon.
Well, really, are they really off-roading?
Sort of.
I don't think so.
It's a dirt. It's a
dirt path.
It's a poorly maintained dirt road. Is what I would say.
They're not exactly in the wild, I would say.
True. You're right.
So then they see the huge ball makes that beeping sound. As soon as you hear the beeping sound, you know the ball is close. The sheriff and the butler bring the shotgun and the grenades, and they walk towards the satellite.
The sheriff realizes what's happened and recounts the story that he says he believes now that Harry did leave her. The sheriff is talking through the story to catch everybody up who might have fallen asleep.
They find the gun as they're walking along that Harry used. He emptied the cylinder, and it's just laying there, and they find it. The sheriff knows that the butler's story is probably correct because the butler's there with him, right?
Yeah, and I'd call for backup.
Charlie? You're going to call Charlie?
Well, it's true. But anybody'd be better than nobody.
So the sheriff and the butler, Jess, walk into the satellite.
Lots of Froggy's fog.
Yeah. Well, I would say fire extinguishers, but whatever. And there are lots of various gems and diamonds suspended in glass spheres, I wrote, but I think they're like fishbowl kind of things.
Yeah, but they're all diamond necklaces.
Or gems or sapphires, right?
No, they're diamonds. They say
Star of India is a sapphire.
Yes, they stole the name.
Okay. And I made a note, the walls appear to be made out of pegboard.
Pegboard walls.
Which is kind of cool with all the Froggy's fog and light coming through the little holes.
But the spaceship is normal sized. It's supposed to house the 30-foot.
It is.
But it's the size of the men in it.
And I made a note that it is interesting how their faces contort when they look through the glass bowls.
They probably thought that was so cool.
Oh, that was awesome. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed
for back
that.
then, yeah. But they say diamonds are used to power the ship.
And then it appears they are startled by something, what I assume is the giant.
Yes, because they're looking up
at this point. Yeah.
They're looking up.
They slowly back out.
Yes.
For like 5 minutes.
Yes.
What seems like 5 minutes. They back out of the spaceship. And then when they get out, they run to the car. But they can only back out slowly. And they get back to the car, but alas,
stuck in the mud.
It is stuck again. And then the semi-transparent giant walks towards them.
They shoot at it.
Yep. The sheriff fires his revolver at it, and then the shotgun. Nothing stops the transparent giant, I wrote.
Yeah, the grenade just annoys him.
He hits it with the grenade, and still he keeps coming. But it did. Yeah, it did. That was probably the most effective against him. And then the giant picks up the station wagon and slams it down to the ground. Except that it's not the station wagon when it's in his hand or when he slams it to the ground. It's a completely different vehicle.
Yeah, it's a magic trick.
Yeah. It goes from a station wagon to like a Nomad or something. Not the same vehicle at all. Then the giant gets back in his satellite and he takes off.
Well, wait, he walks away and what's he wearing? It's like a Roman soldier's uniform from back in the day.
That's what aliens wear.
It's got a snorting bull on it in gold and pleather. It looks pleather,
It's what aliens wear. I don't know.
I guess.
The sheriff tries to use his radio to call the deputy, but the radio is dead in Mrs. Archer's station wagon because she's like fancy like that, and she has a radio in her station wagon.
Oh, I thought they brought it with them, but
No.
okay.
They said at one point, "Oh, the station wagon's got a two-way radio." Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
So then we cut back to the house. The doctors are sitting by the pool, as you do, talking about Nancy's health.
Like it's not a big deal. Like there's not a 50-foot woman in the house.
Oh, yeah, 50. Yeah.
Like this happens all the time. What should we do?
And I think he even says something about when women reach a certain age.
Yeah, I didn't even write that down.
I didn't either. But he also said when men do too. So he mentioned men at middle age.
Looking at 20-year-olds is
yeah.
what they said.
Yeah,
So.
yearning for younger women. So anyway, we hear Nancy yelling for Harry.
Loudly, because she's
Harry! The doctors run up there and tell the nurse to get morphine. Shoot her full of morphine. And they tell the nurse to call the sheriff. This was kind of an issue with me. They tell her to shoot her with morphine, and they tell her to call the sheriff. So she's doing both. The next thing we know, she's downstairs on the phone calling the sheriff.
Well, I think she did give her the morphine.
Yeah, whatever.
But they don't know how long it's going to last because she's 50 feet now.
So they are trying to find Harry because apparently they need his approval to do anything to Nancy. Right.
Well, and a 50-foot woman's calling for him. So maybe they want to placate her a bit.
No, but they need his approval to treat her.
They do. That's one reason he's hiding.
Yes. So Harry is dancing at Tony's with Honey. What's Honey's last name?
Parker, I think.
Honey Parker. Yeah, you're right. Yes. Yes, it is Honey Parker. 1 point for Karen.
So Harry blows off Charlie at Tony's club.
Yeah.
And the
Charlie
morphine,
comes in and she just totally blows him off. He has no interest in going back to the house or talking to anyone about Nancy. I made a note. Not interested.
But back at the house, the morphine wears off.
Yep.
And this is when all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, but the doctors decide they need to inform the authorities. They've tried to keep it quiet so far. There's no way they can keep it out of the news now. And as they're calling the authorities, Nancy wakes up and starts breaking loose of the chains that bind her.
And the meat hooks.
Yes. And she starts tearing the house apart. Eventually, she breaks free and punches her way through the roof.
She does.
And she says she knows where Harry is, and she will find him.
She's now a blonde in sheets for clothes.
Correct.
So, she was a brunette.
She was a brunette.
Till this
you
point.
agree now she's a blonde?
She's a blonde.
Or could she be a redhead now?
I think she's a blonde.
Because in all the posters, she's a redhead.
Well, she looked blonde, which is why I picked
I know, but
the
it's
tall
black and
blonde,
white, right?
The tall blonde drink.
It's black and white. And Honey looks blonde, but apparently she's a redhead too. Because it's black and white. So I'm wondering if she's blonde or a redhead.
I'm going with blonde.
I'm going with redhead because it would kind of.
Okay, well, we'll see next week.
You got Honey the redhead, and now you got the 50-foot giant redhead.
We're going to do a little research and get back to you next week and see who gets a bell for that one.
Or not. As the deputy, Charlie, drives out to the Archer's house, he picks up the sheriff and the butler who are walking back.
Yeah, because the station wagon is smashed. They had to walk back.
Yep.
And everybody gets in the car.
Yeah, and they all pick up the doctors and the nurse. And at this point, Nancy has broken through the house and she's heading to the town. She's going to tear up town. And they need to warn the townspeople. Yeah,
and she's slowly walking and she glows.
In her 60 feet, her 60-foot gait.
50. She didn't grow that big.
Oh,
and she's wearing some sheets, a sheet bikini, tankini maybe.
Yeah, I suppose. And I'm going to note that Mrs. Archer is semi-transparent now as well.
She is.
Then we see an old man and a mule.
Yeah, that was weird. It looked like he was holding a Geiger counter. So I thought
He
he's
did say
looking
something
for,
about radiation. I remember him saying something about
yeah.
radiation.
And I thought he was first, it seemed like he was looking for gold. And I thought the whole reason he was there was because he was holding a Geiger counter. And when she walked by, it would go crazy because that measures radiation. But nothing happened when she walked by. He just flipped out and took his mule and left.
Yeah, and threw away his whiskey bottle.
True.
He thinks he's been drinking too much.
Well, so would you if that's what you saw.
So then Nancy starts shaking the power line tower.
She's messing with the lights.
Yeah. And the lights in Tony's flicker on and off. That's where Harry and Honey are still. If anyone wants to know where Harry and Honey are, they are Tony's. Always. They are always at Tony's.
Well, they're in the hotel sometimes.
For a minute.
Yeah.
Just to pack up her shit. So then a young couple leaves Tony's Bar and Grill and get in their car and start making out. Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Well, but Nancy doesn't like that.
Yeah. Nancy arrives and they run away.
Bad acting, I wrote. They're trying to look up like, oh, a 50-foot woman.
Nancy starts tearing the sign off the hotel as she yells for Harry.
Yeah, she's looking for Harry. She's trashing everything.
Yeah. She reaches her hand into the room of Honey's room,
mm-hmm.
and flips over the bed. So it's kind of funny how she knows exactly where Honey's room is and all that.
I think she knows what's what. She knew what was going on.
The sheriff tells the deputy to find Harry and put him in the police car, that hopefully they can lure her away using Harry as bait.
But Harry says, no fucking way. She's going to kill me.
So Nancy finds Harry at Tony's because he ain't at the hotel. He's at Tony's. She reaches her hand into Tony's and grabs him.
Well, no, first the paper mache hand comes in the front door and Charlie, the deputy, says, I can't shoot a lady. And
no, this is when she grabs him.
Harry says he has no problem shooting his wife.
Yeah.
And then Nancy rips the roof off the bar. You missed it. You're missing a whole.
No, Nancy, she reaches her hand in to grab him. The deputy pulls his gun, but he can't bring himself to shoot her. Right? Harry takes the gun from him.
Yeah, and shoots his wife.
And fires a couple shots at Nancy, at his wife.
But she hasn't grabbed him yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
So then Nancy starts tearing apart the building. She kills the redhead.
Yeah, which I noted was an hour.
I don't think she meant to intentionally.
I think she meant to.
But just all the lumber and everything falling on top of her killed her.
She was hiding under a table.
Poor Honey.
But I said it at an hour and 3 minutes in, finally a dead body.
We didn't see a 50-foot woman until 10 minutes left in the movie.
I know. I was a little disappointed in that.
Nancy then grabs Harry and pulls him out. The sheriff fires a couple shots at her. And he grabs his shotgun and fires a couple shots at her from it.
But did you hear this part where somebody said, I think it was Charlie, you're not going to shoot her with that gun, are you? And did you hear him say, well, what do you want me to do? Put salt on its tail? Which my mom used to give us salt shakers and tell us that was this old thing where if you could put salt on a bird's tail, you could catch it. It's a folklore.
Yeah.
So she'd send us out in the yard with salt shakers. And the whole thing is if you're close enough to sprinkle salt on its tail, you can catch it. It's right there. But we would crawl around the yard, climbing trees and stuff, trying to put salt on because we were smart,
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was funny that he said it. But he starts shooting at her.
Yeah. And Nancy is standing near a power transformer.
Big mistake.
And he is shooting the shotgun at her. And he hits the transformer and it explodes.
She goes down.
Which sends Nancy to the ground. She still has Harry in her hand, though. The doctors run in to check on Harry. He gone.
He's dead.
They say she finally got Harry all to herself. He gone.
Yep, and that's the end.
And she gone. The end. Karen, have you ever heard the song Attack of the 50-Foot Woman by the Tubes?
I don't know. Sing me some.
The Tubes? You know the Tubes, right?
I know who the Tubes are.
Talk to you later. She's a beauty.
Yeah.
right?
But
Let me just read you some of the verses. Can I do that?
sure.
It was a normal date with my girlfriend Sue. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and 5'2". The night was cold, the stars were bright. From over her shoulder came a strange sight. We parked the car down at 3 Mile Point. The top was down. We were really going. I heard her cry. The reactor flared. She grew and grew. I freaked and stared. It's wonderful literature, I know. Next verse. I had to run just to save my skin. She scooped me up. I could not win. My God, I screamed to my distress. Got a 50-foot woman in a 5-foot dress. Next verse. The National Guard couldn't shoot her down. Before she left, she really trashed our town. She left me there, though I tried and tried. A 50-foot woman's never satisfied.
There was no chorus.
Well, there were, but those are the important parts.
Okay. Well, obviously inspired by the movie.
It's a good song. The chorus is Attack of the 50-foot woman. Our love was at an end. All she did to get her kicks was step on all the men.
Well, I like that chorus. Shouldn't have left that out.
So anything you really liked in this movie, Karen?
Well, not particularly, but I will say, the last couple times I've been disappointed that they missed their opportunities for a sequel. But in this one, there was a loose end that could perpetuate a sequel. Do you know what it could be?
Well, I guess the alien's still out there.
Yeah, the alien's still out there in his Roman costume in the middle of the desert, waiting for someone else.
Waiting for another 5-foot woman to turn into a 50-foot woman.
Well, if she has a diamond.
Yeah, true, because that's all he cared about was the jewels.
So it's possible that you could have a sequel. But I'll tell you what I was very disappointed in.
Yes, please do.
The poster has nothing to do with the movie.
Doesn't?
No. If you look at the poster, she's picking up cars on a freeway. So I was pulled in by the poster thinking.
So it looks like it happens in LA or something, but this does not occur in the big city at all.
No, and it kind of implies, like you said, there was only 10 minutes of the 50-foot woman. I thought it would have a lot more action with the 50-foot woman because it shows her in the poster picking up cars on a freeway. I thought maybe she'd be around in the movie a little longer. Yeah, they totally did. They did.
And she's a redhead in the poster.
I'm sticking with my tall blonde.
Okay. Well,
I don't know why they had to do that because she was a beautiful brunette. Why did they have to make her blonde?
Well, she's a smoking hot redhead too. So either or, I'm in.
So what do you got? Were you happy about or pleasantly surprised by?
I did like some of the lighting in the interior shots as Harry and Jess are fighting down the stairs. I think you said they were Hitchcock-esque, and they were. Now that you say it, I didn't come up with that term until you said it, but yes, they are. So I enjoyed that.
Disappointments?
I wish it was in color so I can know she was a redhead or a blonde. That's what I want to know.
True.
But she was smoking hot brunette too, so.
She was. I know we've said it many times. She's very pretty. But
her hair color does change.
It definitely does, which is weird. So it's weird.
And actually, the Giants' costume changes too as I'm flipping through pictures here. But
it's interesting, sort of, to me, if you and I were going to make a movie, when there's so many things that don't track, like when they call it the 30-foot alien picks up one car, smashes it into the ground, and it miraculously changes it to a different one. Would we notice things like that when you're making a movie?
Well, yeah, when you make a movie, yes.
I know, but you know how you always see, there's always people who see things that don't track. You can't watch everything. Now, that's a big difference,
They didn't have a model of a 19, whatever the station wagon it was, to use.
That's a big mistake.
And they didn't have the budget to create one from scratch, right?
No, but just you saying her clothes are different. Her hair is different.
Yeah.
Would we notice things like that, or would we just push through to get it finished?
No, that's why you have a continuity person, right?
Well, their continuity person was terrible.
Yeah.
Is
Well, it
that
was
in the editing?
1958.
Every movie we've watched except Psycho, probably.
Okay, the station wagon that the giant picks up is a 1958 Plymouth. The car that lands on the ground is a 1950s Chevrolet. So it's
I'm just saying
not even close.
they're blatant mistakes, I would guess you would call them. And if you're making
but
a
they
movie,
didn't have a Matchbox car of a 1958 Plymouth. So
then why didn't they find a car they could drive that matched the Matchbox? I'm sure you could find one. You find a Matchbox that's a cheap car.
Karen, all it takes is money. OPM, other people's money.
I understand that. What I'm asking though is it just seems like sometimes mistakes are so ridiculous that you could have done something about it. You choose it.
I wouldn't have let that go if it was me.
That's what I'm saying.
I would have made it. Yeah, I wouldn't have let that go.
Or would you, when you're watching it, do you go, oh shit, she's wearing different clothes than she was a minute ago. Should we change that? Or why do you even have different clothes for her?
Continuity.
Like, I'm just saying, I wonder how caught up you get in it when it's your own film that you don't see that stuff. Because when you're editing something that you've written and you know what it's supposed to say, so you miss sometimes the misspellings or grammatical stuff because you read it as you know it should be. I'm not saying the car is a big difference, but small things, glasses half full and then totally full, or, you need someone with OCD to really pay attention.
That's me.
That's Greg in our group.
Yes. Yeah, I like her better as a brunette, I'm going to say, in case anyone was wondering.
So you weren't listening to me. You were clicking through pictures.
Pictures. Well, I was looking for inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I like Harry, but I do.
Well, you shouldn't.
He's a total sleazeball, but I like him.
He's awful.
And I really like the scene where he's undressing her and getting ready for bed.
Because he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's giving like that.
Yeah. And she's wearing a wonderful dress too. So
LBD. It's a little black dress.
Yeah.
Every woman should have one.
It's a shoulderless black dress.
Yeah, it's off the shoulder.
Off the shoulder, yeah.
I will say, when researching this movie, there is, which you probably didn't notice or care about, there's a feminist bent to people looking back on the movie.
Of course there is.
When she finally gains power over her situation,
but she has the power throughout the film. Really?
No, because he's still having the affair. He's still doing what he wants. See, that's interesting because
she has the power.
No, she has the money, but he's still with Honey all the time.
She can kick him to the curb anytime she wants.
See, that must be the man's view. It's interesting to see you say that because I don't think that's true. Well, I think because she's ruled by emotions.
Well, someone needs to slap her.
Well,
if I was there, I'd slap her.
I wouldn't take that approach because slapping's not.
No, I'm figuratively. I'm saying.
Yes, please don't throw that out there.
No.
I'm saying because she loves him, she can't stop him from having the affairs because she just wants to be with him. But when she finally gains that power,
could I grab her by the shoulders and shake her and say, "Snap out of it"?
You could calmly converse with her about her emotional failings.
I don't know if I could do that, but I would try.
Okay, let's say it this way then. She finally feels that she has the power to control the situation as the 50-foot woman. She finally understands that she has the power and they kill her.
As soon as she turns into the 50-foot woman, all she cares about is finding Harry, right?
Yeah.
Well, why does she want to find Harry, do you think?
Well,
she wants to kill him, or do you think she wants
I think she wants to take him away from Honey.
Save her.
Both. I think she wants to get him away from Honey, which she physically can do now. She can make sure, if she holds him 50 feet in the air, he can't go back to Honey. Right. And she thinks he's going to help her. I don't know why she thinks that. He's been horrible the whole time, but
I don't know, but
Anyway.
the first time she sees the sphere, she comes running back to Tony's, calling for Harry to help her.
Right.
And then at the very end, she's going to town yelling for Harry.
Right. Because in the beginning,
When she wakes up, when she's 50-foot woman, first thing she says is Harry.
She needs him in the beginning. And as it progresses, she realizes now she can be in charge. You think she's in charge the whole time. I don't see it that way. I see it.
I think she could be in charge, but
she's not until she becomes
just like
the
I said,
50-foot woman.
Even when she becomes the 50-foot woman, the first word out of her mouth is Harry.
But she's going to go get him.
I think she wants Harry to save her. She wants Harry.
I don't think she's going to kill him. I think she's just going to extract him from that situation. She thinks that's going to make her happy, but it's not.
I don't know. I think she's just wants Harry to be with her, period. The end.
But he doesn't love her, even though she loves him. So be careful if you have $50 million, because it's likely.
Well, how much in today's money did you say this started?
466.
So be careful if you have 400. If you're a woman and you have $460 million, be careful.
I don't think it matters if you're a woman or a man and you have 460 million.
Be careful who you let in.
Yes.
So what'd you think about the drink, Karen?
I liked it. It was
all right.
It's like a fuzzy navel with a little gin in it, right?
Yeah, with a fuzzy navel with a little gin. Yeah. It's exactly what I would say. So, cocktail rating. How many cocktails did it take you to get through this movie?
This was a bad movie, I think.
It was short enough so you weren't wasting a lot of time with it, though. I mean, it moved along pretty quick, even though we didn't see the 50-foot woman until there were 10 minutes left.
That was disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing. I'd say 4.
4? I'll go with that. 4 cocktails. This movie was so bad.
Yeah, I apologize.
It took us 4 cocktails to get through it.
I feel like we took us.
Picked it.
I know. I feel like we took a step backwards with this one.
Well, we were delightful. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, not us personally.
Right. It's all about our review and our reaction, not the movie.
I know, but I felt like we were moving, I don't know, in a direction, and I feel like
better films.
Maybe. Well, I don't know if Maximum Overdrive and
Yeah, well, wait till next week.
I don't know. I think I was taken in by the poster.
As you would.
Well, that's the point,
A big, leggy redhead.
Well, I just had seen it. You see it in movies. You see it. I saw it in a restaurant in California when we lived out there. And I always thought, I've never seen that movie. They just it was a cheap reproduction, but of the poster. And I thought, every time we went in there, I thought, I've never seen that. And so finally it's checked off the list, but.
Yep. Check off the bucket list.
Of movies. Yes.
Anything we learned today?
We learned a lot about diamonds and sapphires.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep. And a 1958 Imperial Crown convertible.
Which we're going to buy.
Well,
we're going to fundraise. We're going to have bake sales until we can afford it.
$27,000. It's not crazy money, but.
We just have to sell 27,000 cupcakes.
Yeah. 27,000 cupcakes. That works. Or like 7,000 t-shirts.
Which you can find in our merch store. So go to our website, scaryspirits.com, and click on the merch store. Help us out.
If we sell 7,000 t-shirts, we can buy a 1958 Imperial Crown convertible.
And Greg can drive me in a parade.
Yeah, with leather bench seats, interior, an AM radio.
Fancy.
It does come with a full-size spare, so we got that going for us. Yeah, in good condition is 27,000. In excellent condition, it's 65,000.
Oh, that's a lot of cupcakes.
Yes. So we learned today?
No, we learned about the diamonds. We learned about
sapphires that are really sapphires, diamonds that are really sapphires.
A couple of different cars. How much $50 million is worth today.
Yeah.
What the pituitary gland does.
Thank you, Dr. Karen, for that. I kind of zoned out when they were talking about all that stuff. I was like, Karen will cover it. Anything else?
It's not a great movie, but it's short.
Yeah, it's
And
like an
so if
hour
you,
long.
and it's a cult classic, and I think most horror fans have seen it. So if you need to check it off your list, you'll get through it.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. And even though you don't see the 50-foot woman until the last 10 minutes, I was kind of okay with it because she was kind of smoking anyway, however she was.
You need to count how many times we called that woman smoking.
You mean how many times I called her smoking?
I think I called her smoking a couple times too. I bet we're up to at least 7.
But did you do any research into the actress?
I did not know.
So she died young, in her 40s. She was taking calcium supplements that ended up having lead in it, and she died of lead poisoning.
Well, that's not good.
And actually, she was very prominent in getting supplements regulated for that kind of shit.
After she got sick?
Yep.
They're still not regulated.
Better than then, I'm sure.
True, but even now, they're still not regulated.
And she didn't really do a whole lot of like things you would know. She's kind of like the B movie actress. You know what I mean? Lots of B movies.
Well, she probably made a decent living. Lots
of Perry Mason episodes.
She looks like a Perry Mason kind of actress.
Yeah, she was in lots of them.
She wasn't his secretary, was she? She just guest star in them.
Yeah, because she's in like 5 different ones from 1960 to 1965. She's in like one every year. You know what I mean? And
so she wasn't a main.
No, she played various characters.
She looks like the kind of actress that would walk in when they say, what does the detective say? She walked into mine. Of all the joints in all the towns or whatever, she looks like the kind of woman that would walk in.
She was in a movie called The Disembodied, which I'm looking at a picture from, which I kind of want to watch now. Yeah, she's a good looking lady. I'm kind of surprised she wasn't in better movies,
She wasn't a terrible actress.
No, she probably got typecast or whatever. Yeah, she was born in Charleston, West Virginia. Died at age 46. It's too young.
Definitely.
All right. We need to talk about the next movie.
It's your pick. What do you got?
It is my pick. And since our next episode will air on July 14th, which is smack dab in the middle of Shark Week.
Nice.
I guess I have to pick a shark movie.
Well, you don't have to.
Really?
No,
I could change my mind right now.
You could. What's Shark Week? Is that Discovery Shark Week?
Yes. Shark Week. The Discovery channels. Whatever. Discovery Plus and all that stuff now. So I think we'll do a shark movie. And I think the movie we will do is a movie called Bait.
Oh, no.
Hey, you sent me it.
Okay. Is it available on Amazon Prime?
It is on Amazon Prime.
Well, don't click on it or they'll raise the price.
I know I had to pay for this 50-foot woman today.
Yeah. How long is Bait?
A freak tsunami traps a group of people inside a supermarket, and soon they find they are not alone. Their company, besides each other, is a pack of hungry killer sharks. It's from 2012, 1 hour, 33 minutes, and it's $2.99 to rent.
This is Maximum Overdrive with sharks.
I don't know. Well, yeah, it kind of is actually.
Yes, because they're all in a building and the sharks are going to circle them, right?
Yeah, but the sharks are in the building with them. See, that's the thing that brought me to it actually. And the drink. Should we have a drink for that?
Oh, we're going to need a drink for that.
So I'm thinking the perfect cocktail will be the Shark Lady cocktail.
Okay, what do we need for that?
Which, if you live in Sarasota, Florida, you will be well aware of this probably, because it's a drink they use as a fundraiser down there. So we're going to need coconut rum, blue curacao, pineapple juice, and sweet and sour mix. And a gummy shark.
Where do you find a gummy shark?
Amazon. Hey, I ordered 2 pounds of them today. So
Oh, my Lord.
if you need one, I got them.
Okay.
Or a candy store, whatever.
You can mail it to me. FedEx me some gummy sharks.
So yeah, that's what we're going to do.
All right. I'm not feeling so bad about the 50-foot woman now.
Right. Anything else, Karen?
I tried. I'm just going to let you guys know. I tried to get him to do the 6-headed shark, and he wouldn't do it.
You didn't really try hard.
Because I've seen it. And I'd watch it again on a Saturday afternoon.
And I may or may not have shark issues, which we will get into next episode. So stay tuned for that.
Oh, please do. For learning all of Greg's issues, stay tuned.
All right. Anything else, Karen? We need to thank your alcohol mules this week.
No, I got my own alcohol.
We're a big girl and went to the store all by yourself.
I did.
Yeah, good for you. So did I.
Oh, you know what? I will thank someone.
Okay.
I'd like to thank science for allowing me to go
Science?
to the store. Yes.
Any particular brand of science you would like to thank?
Immunologists.
No, not Johnson & Johnson or...
Well, those are companies. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Or whatever the one I got was.
Moderna
Moderna
or Pfizer.
or Pfizer. Thank all of them people.
I'll just thank science.
Okay, cool. Thanks, science. We do need to once again thank First 13 for letting us use their music in our podcast. Once again, a link to all their information will be in the show notes. Anything else, Karen?
Always remember, please drink responsibly.
Yes.
If you want to get social with us, you absolutely can. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Email us your questions and comments to scaryspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Search for us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast and check out our website at scaryspirits.com. You can find all the recipes for our themed adult beverages in the recipe den on the website. We are especially excited about our Scary Spirits merch store. Lots of cool stuff with our logo on it. You can find the link to the store on the website. And be sure to share the love and help others find us by leaving us a 5-star review. As always, thanks for listening.